All right, let's solve a puzzle that honestly trips up just about everyone, from serious athletes to people just trying to get healthier. We're talking about high-protein diets and their, well, almost magical ability to let people do what seems impossible: build muscle while losing fat. Today, we're going to break down the actual science behind this and show you how protein can completely change your body in ways that just seem to defy the old-school rules of weight loss. So it all boils down to this one central question you see debated all over the internet, right? Can you really do both at the same time? I mean, you're supposed to be in a calorie deficit to lose fat, but you need a calorie surplus to build muscle, or so we're told. It just sounds like a total paradox, a fitness fantasy, doesn't it? And you will find plenty of people who are absolutely convinced it's impossible. You just have to hop on any fitness forum and you'll see comments exactly like this one. And the logic seems solid, you know? The laws of physics are absolute. You can't just create new muscle tissue out of nothing when you're technically starving your body of energy. It's a pretty tough argument to beat. But then, in the very same conversation, you see a completely different story. Someone like this user, Thorindor, comes in and says, "Hey, I did it. Lost weight, got stronger, felt more muscular." So what gives? Is one of these people just wrong? Or are we all missing a key piece of the puzzle? That's what we're here to figure out. Okay, so the first major clue to cracking this case is all about how protein messes with our appetite. And this isn't about willpower, it's pure biochemistry. That feeling of being full and satisfied, it's maybe the most powerful tool in any diet, and protein is an absolute master at creating it. So let's get on the same page. When we say satiety, what do we mean? It's simply that feeling of satisfaction you get after a meal that tells your brain, hey, we're good down here. You can stop looking for food now. And the longer that signal lasts, the less likely you are to go snacking an hour later. And here is where things get really cool. Eating protein is like hacking your body's hunger control system. It cranks up the production of hormones that scream, "I'm full," to your brain. And at the exact same time, it slams the brakes on ghrelin, which is famously known as the hunger hormone. It is a powerful 1-2 punch that just shuts down overeating. And you see this in the real world all the time. Think about Greek yogurt. It usually has about double the protein of regular yogurt. Now, that isn't just a random number on the nutrition label. It translates directly to a massive boost in satiety. It helps you feel way fuller for way longer from the same amount of food. All right, on to our second clue. Protein doesn't just help you eat less, it actually makes you burn more. Yeah, you heard that right. The very act of eating protein actually fires up your body's metabolic engine. So this effect has a pretty fancy scientific name: diet-induced thermogenesis, or DIT. But you can just think of it as a processing fee on the food you eat. Your body has to spend energy to break down and use the energy from food. But here's the thing, not all foods have the same processing fee. And this chart just says it all. Look at this. Your body barely breaks a sweat processing fat, a tiny fee. Carbs cost a little more, but protein? Whoa. Your body burns a massive 20 to 30% of the calories you get from protein just to digest it. That is a huge metabolic advantage right out of the gate. But it gets even more important during weight loss. See, normally, when you lose weight, you lose muscle right along with the fat, and that's bad, because muscle burns calories. Losing it slows down your metabolism. A high-protein diet, though, acts like a bodyguard for your muscles. It helps you hang on to that precious calorie-burning tissue, which keeps your metabolism from taking a nosedive. Okay, now for the final and I think the most important piece of the puzzle. We have to stop thinking about protein as just another number in our calorie count. We need to see it for what it really is, the actual raw material your body uses to build and repair itself. This Reddit user just hit the nail on the head with this analogy. It's perfect. Calories are the energy, the cash you need to run the construction project. But you can't build a house with just cash, right? You need bricks and wood and steel. For your muscles, those building blocks are amino acids, and they only come from protein. Your body fat has tons of cash stored away, but it has 0 bricks. And that's really the heart of it. Our bodies are amazing machines, but they can't just create everything out of thin air. There are 9 essential amino acids that we absolutely have to get from the food we eat. If you don't eat them, muscle repair and muscle growth physically cannot happen. It just stops, period. So we've laid out all the clues, right? Protein beats back hunger, it boosts your metabolism, and it provides the non-negotiable building blocks for muscle. So let's put it all together and see what the hard science says about our original question. This is it. This is the proof. A massive review of 24 different clinical trials put high-protein diets head-to-head with standard ones. And the results? Well, they're pretty stunning. On average, the high-protein groups lost more fat, but here's the kicker. They actually gained muscle. And on top of that, their daily metabolism went up. This is it. Clear scientific evidence that you can, in fact, build muscle while losing fat. Now, of course, we have to talk about the big concerns you always hear. For years, people have worried, oh, isn't all that protein bad for your bones? What about your kidneys? Well, the good news is multiple long-term studies have looked at this very carefully, and they found no evidence of harm in healthy adults. For most of us, a high-protein diet is a perfectly safe and incredibly effective tool. So, after all this, you can see that the whole paradox isn't really a paradox at all. It's just biology. And this brings us to a much more interesting and honestly a much more useful final thought. It's based on something called the protein leverage hypothesis. The idea is that your body has a deep, primal drive to get enough protein. And if your diet is low in protein, you will subconsciously keep eating more fats and carbs until you hit that protein target. So the real question isn't, can you build muscle and lose fat? The real question is, does your diet give you the protein you need to finally take control? That's the real protein puzzle.